Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video we are going to be discussing season 1 episode 8, Three's a Crowd of Sex in the City. So let's get into it. Welcome to Iconically Iconic. So we open up this episode of Sex in the City with Charlotte and this new guy she's been seeing for a few weeks. He tells Charlotte she illuminates this sexiness and then says he fantasizes about having a threesome with her.
You, me, and another woman.
I mean, are you kidding me right now?
The way I rolled my eyes so hard at this scene. The only reason he even asked about her fantasy first was so he could throw his in after, because him just randomly saying it would have been too obvious. But either way, he planted the seed. Now, first of all, this man hasn't even been around you long enough to meet your parents. How much do you even know about him? And he already has the gall to suggest a threesome. And what makes it worse is that Charlotte is actually considering it just because he buttered her up with a simple-minded compliment. You know, I always found it comical how she constantly judged Samantha for sleeping with multiple men and her lifestyle choices, but she really wasn't much different. The only difference is Charlotte presented herself in a more reserved and proper way. The difference between her and Samantha was the packaging, and maybe that she wouldn't do certain things Samantha would do. And y'all know Charlotte and Samantha are both my favorite characters, but they both had flaws and hypocritical ways and things I disagreed with sometimes. But if a man came around who had the right class, pedigree, or background, she would be in bed with him. Just because her end goal was marriage doesn't make it any different. And while I don't agree with Samantha's reckless ways, especially the fact that she didn't even practice safe sex consistently or get tested regularly, the one thing Samantha wasn't was desperate. She never put who she was to the side for a man. And I just want to stop there really quickly for a second, because Samantha not getting tested regularly was extremely reckless, especially during this time when the AIDS epidemic was still heavy. Treatment options were limited and the stigma was everywhere. Her behavior wasn't just some fun and wild thing that she did. It was very careless and dangerous. And the fact that the show never dove into the seriousness of it was insane to me. This wasn't something you just brushed under the rug. Being reckless with sex during that era could literally cost your life. But back to what I was saying. Charlotte, on the other hand, was the desperate one. She would adjust her whole identity just for a ring. And I call it desperation because let's not forget, she followed this man from event to event just so they could coincidentally run into each other. Even if she didn't approach him first, the effort was still desperate, and Charlotte was consistently desperate. Charlotte tells the girls about the threesome conversation, and Miranda, being Miranda, speaks nothing but the truth. She's straightforward and logical, and I agree with her completely.
Thinks I'm sexy. He's just buttering you up. First you start thinking you're hot, then he brings up the threesome thing. Boom, suddenly you're kissing another woman while he beats off.
Now, in my opinion, this was something that this guy did often, or he just felt like Charlotte was naive enough to run game on. And if we're being honest, he wasn't wrong because Charlotte was naive. It's also very concerning how some women will go against their own morals and feelings just to keep a man or satisfy him. That level of desperation is insane. Going against who you are just for a man, especially a man you just met. Meanwhile, Samantha is knowingly sleeping with a married man. And what I found funny is in episode 3 of this season, Samantha is talking about how married women think that she'd sleep with their husbands. And I mean, when it came to her, they weren't really wrong. Now, in my opinion, I feel like this was clearly about ego. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Samantha had a lot of deep-rooted insecurities and unaddressed trauma when it came to relationships. She liked the fact that he was married because in her mind, it made her feel superior. Like she won because he chose her to cheat with. She even put herself in competition with his wife in her mind. And that's not confidence, that's insecurity hidden behind empowerments, because girl, this man is trash. Your self-esteem has to be in the slums to accept that role. And while you may not owe the wife anything personally, because so many people love to use that, you should respect yourself enough to not be somebody's escape. And if you actually respect women, you wouldn't play a part in hurting another one, whether you know her or not. The next scene, Miranda is in therapy because she takes it personally that the girls didn't pick her as someone they'd have a threesome with. She connects it back to when she was younger, and you can definitely tell it caused her to build resentment toward the quote-unquote pretty women, and it explains why she'd make nasty comments about women she saw as competition or people she saw as feminine who liked makeup and nails and doing their nails, and she thought that they were bimbos and idiots when it was just her insecurities projecting on to them because she had issues with those kind of women as a child. And then she became the bully who was bullied. Now, Carrie, she's at Big's place and the conversation of threesomes comes up. She asks him if he's ever had one. And I truly don't understand women like Carrie asking questions you know you don't want to know the answer to, but your nosiness and your curiosity gets the better of you, but you really can't handle that kind of truth. Big tells her yes, he had a threesome with his wife, and of course, Carrie Bradshaw becomes obsessed with this woman she's never even met. Why would she think that Big would randomly bring this up and tell her that like it was nothing, especially when they hadn't even been dating that long? Big wasn't invested in her seriously, in my opinion. He liked that Carrie tolerated his ways and fed his ego, but he wasn't really looking for something serious with Carrie. She wasn't even his girlfriend, so in his mind, he didn't owe her that kind of honesty, and they didn't even establish themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever the case may be. Later, Carrie tells the girls about Big's ex-wife and the threesome while they're shopping for makeup. Samantha casually drops she's sleeping with a married man because his wife won't give him a BJ, very pick-me of her. Like I said before, Samantha constantly placed herself in competition with certain women or with the wife and fed off the validation of being chosen, even if it didn't mean she was going to be in a relationship with this person. It just made her feel good that a man wanted her. Was Samantha beautiful? Absolutely stunning. Was she that girl? Absolutely. But Samantha was also insecure, and if you notice, when a man would reject Samantha, it definitely did something to her. And what I realized here with watching this episode is that this friend group as a whole was fine with hurting and demeaning women who weren't in their circles. If you weren't a part of their clique, their feelings didn't matter, and they didn't see you as the fellow woman, but as somebody as competition and someone who doesn't matter because you're not our friend, so why should we care about you? You have that right, but what does that say about you and your character when you move like that? I don't have to be friends with another woman or know her personally to not go out of my way and hurt her. Then Miranda tells Carrie to check out the ex. Now, Miranda, why would you tell her that? Why would you tell this girl to go and check out the ex? You know Carrie is not going to just check out the ex. She is going to go full-on stalker mode. And I'm sorry, but check the ex out for what? Are you dating him or his ex-wife? People who stalk their partner's exes are mentally unwell, but of course, Carrie goes click-clacking to Barbara's office. She's a publisher, pretending to pitch some fake children's book about magic cigarettes.
You want to write a children's book about smoking? Well, it's a children's book for adults.
Girl, Carrie, don't piss me off. Sometimes I questioned if Carrie had all of her marbles in her head. You weren't even smart enough to come up with a good plan before you got there. She was given full Lifetime Unhinged vibes, very Joe Goldberg, touching plaques in Barbara's office, seething with jealousy. Carrie was a Lifetime movie waiting to happen. Then Carrie becomes so obsessed with Barbara that she can't even be intimate with Big because she has his ex on her mind. And what's worse is she even straightens her hair and dresses similar to Barbara before going to lunch with her. I'm sorry, but if this is not unhinged behavior, I don't know what is. All this over a man she's known for what, maybe a month, if that? You actually went to go see his ex-wife and then begin doing your hair like her and dressed like her.
Changed your hair. Oh, well, thanks.
No ma'am, no ma'am. Meanwhile, Samantha's married fling calls to tell her he left his wife. Excuse me? Throw this man in the garbage. Her answering the phone with,
Who is this?
will forever be hilarious to me, but I felt bad for Ruth, the wife, until she said she would actually join them in a threesome to make her husband happy. Baby Ruth, what is going on? This man was a 37-year-old cornball, and you actually demeaning yourself and saying that you're going to have a threesome to keep your husband happy is absurd. And even if he was this gorgeous, beautiful man, the desperation is outrageous. I mean, I do know it was different back then, but I don't care about it being different back then because I was also raised back then, and the women in my family was not doing things like this. So there is a level of desperation, and I think it also depends on how you grew up. I feel like with these kind of women, it may have been a thing where you're keeping up an image and saying you're still married to this person. It's been such and such years. It's all about image. Their mental health comes last and image comes first. And I'm sorry, happiness and your mental health should always be a priority. Not making someone else happy while you lie in misery because you're so worried about them leaving you or you making them happy. Absolutely not. Sorry, that is not okay. If you're worrying about keeping a person happy, who's worrying about you? Who's caring for you? Anyways, so in the next scene, Charlotte is at the party with the architect, she's at a masquerade ball, and they're pointing out women they'd be interested in sleeping with. More so he's pointing it out. But of course, it doesn't play out how she imagined, and she ends up literally kicked out the bed. I think Charlotte growing up sheltered really made her naive. She thought just because a man had money, social status, and looked good on paper that it meant he'd treat her right, or even that she's supposed to succumb and sacrifice herself just to say she's married and that she has a husband. Or absolutely not. So Carrie finally meets back up with Big after avoiding him for 8 days. And while I am not a big fan, Carrie had some damn nerve having an attitude. You're the one who went snooping into his ex-wife's life, crossing boundaries left and right, yet she flips it on him like he's the problem. Be serious right now. What exactly were you mad at? That he didn't comfort you with some lie about how you're different and special and you will be treated a different way? Because let's keep it real, Carrie wasn't leaving Big no matter what. So what exactly was the point? Why were you so upset? And when Big calls her out and tells her, I know you saw my ex-wife. She told me. Any normal person would have been embarrassed and ashamed. I would have just been, oh my God, I cannot believe this man knows that I went to go see his ex-wife and I was stalking her and actually coming up with fake book ideas. But Carrie takes it as, oh my God, you're still seeing her?
She told you?
She told me.
See, that's another thing. You didn't tell me that you're still talking to her.
Girl, the hinges are definitely off of her door. I feel like Big should have ended things right there. She showed she didn't respect boundaries, and she proved it again later when he told her he wanted Sundays with his mother at church, and she still couldn't take no for an answer. Boundaries was something that offended Carrie. Now, me personally, if I ever found out someone I just started dating went snooping into my ex's life, I'd cut them off immediately. That's none of your business, and I don't owe you a damn thing about my past relationships. And to me, that's scary behavior and a huge red flag. Because if you're willing to do that, what else are you willing to do? But you know, Big being Big, he liked chaos, he loved the attention. He enjoyed Carrie being obsessed because it fed his ego. In the end, they truly deserved each other, and the two make up at the end of the episode. But you know that doesn't last for long. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next one.